need you and I want you. That's all. I won't ask you to do anything you don't want to do.
G. Hello, my name is Kevin. I am the Dapper Man. That is Dapperman. Apparently, when I spell it, the captioning works. I don't know why. It does. Anyhow, I am going to be talking about a 1951 noir film that was directed by Henry Hathaway. That movie is called 14 Hours. Now, this movie originally was supposed to be called The Man on the Edge, which was the title of the short story that was based on the tragic suicide that happened on July 27, 1938. However, the mother of that son that committed suicide requested the studio not to keep that same title and try to keep the names completely different. So they did that. In fact, they went as far as changing the city so that way any types of trace or links would not be traced towards this movie and not have people surround and consistently, be people. It was very interesting because the beginning of this movie is not true at all whatsoever. It gives a very false lead, even though this is purely, almost completely based on that event. Now, Henry Hathaway has directed films such as Call Northside 777 in 1948, Niagara, which is also the same cinematographer for this movie, in 1953, and the movie True Grit in 1969, in which John Wayne won an Academy Award for. So we open to the streets of New York. It is empty, it's bare, there's not much people around. No hustling, bustling, and it's about to have a parade happening soon on the St. Patrick's Day. Here we open up to a hotel room where food is ordered to a room, and the waiter, who's for room service, notices something is not quite right, and he sees that there is an open window. It's there he discovers a young man named Robert. He is depressed and distressed, and he's on the ledge of a building 15 stories high, and he's about to jump to commit suicide. Suddenly, upon this sight, a woman screams in terror, seeing this from the building across the street, and down on the streets below. Officer Dunnigan, a traffic officer, looks up and speedily calls the station, and he tries as fast as he can to go up to talk him down. It's from this point in the film that we see different aspect views of different people that's interacting into this movie. It is from this point that we see very many different faces, from the unsympathetic officers, the media, the taxi drivers, and others inside the crowd. We see some good people who actually care, but we also see a good majority of people not really caring. We see people wanting to exploit the event for self-advantage. There are people in his life, that is his family, or others, that don't make the situation any better, such as his divorced parents, as they're battling the mindset of him. We have an ex-fiancé who still loves him, but is unsure of what to say or how to truly feel. A therapist without answers, along with an officer who's thrown into this situation. He's unsure what to do, what to say, but all he knows is that he's trying to do everything in his power to help, and everything he can to the best of his ability. I have to say, this film does everything possible to do this film as effective for its time frame, for its camera angles, and it's not a very clean or very sanitized film, which is shocking for this type of film in this year. It seems that almost everyone is hiding something from someone, especially those that's his mother and father. They seem like they'd be hiding something even more. But even the officer, there's something that he can relate to this young man as a father of himself, but he's not fully letting him know everything that's happening because he's trying to stop him from committing suicide. So Richard Basehart plays this character of Robert, and he does a fantastic job through his different range of emotions, from sadness, depression, almost about to burst out in tears, anger, bit of happiness, and there's always something you could tell deep inside of his eyes that wants to connect with this officer. I love the range of expressions that's shown through his face as he interacts with different people as they're trying to talk him down. Everything from his mother to his father to his fiancée towards the therapist or even the person who first discovered him on the ledge. The deep focused camera angle, which is very popular for a noir film, is fantastic. A lot of these shots are made for interpretation, and this movie has some of my most favorite shots I've ever seen inside of a film. And you could interpret exactly what you're seeing, and sometimes you don't. You may take a couple of times, which I've watched this movie already 3 times. I've already watched this movie for the first time just a couple of days ago, and this is my 3rd time watching it because I was so impressed by the shots and the way the film was made. I can't believe it took me this long to watch this movie. One of the great things I've noticed about this movie is at the very beginning, at the very end, there's a music score, but throughout the entirety of the film, there is no music. I believe it's a very smart, wise move because it just adds the chaos, the realism, and everything, just putting you in that perspective of understanding everything what's happening, listening to the sounds, watching the people's reaction to their facial. It's brilliant. It is also the first time we get to see Ossie Davis in the film. This is the very first movie. We also see Grace Kelly, who is probably the most well-known inside this film. At least during its time, she wasn't that well-known, but she became well-known. Along with that, with Jeffrey Hunter, who had a very prolific role in movies. This is a film that I've actually purchased 10 years ago, and I can't remember how I got this movie, because I got rid of the DVD case and I only had the DVD. It has a good special feature, which I believe the only special feature it had was just the commentary, and I listened to the commentary and I very much appreciate it, and I think it made me appreciate the movie even more, listening to this historian as he's discussing about what's happening in the film or how the film was made and so forth. Why it took me 10 years? I don't know. Who knows? I'm just surprised because when I watched a movie like Niagara, which has Marilyn Monroe, I see a lot of connections from that movie into this movie, and I can understand how the movie is shot now, and it's brilliant. But as I said, not almost every actor has a very important role into this movie, and even the taxi drivers, which is a bit maybe not the best part, but still they add something because it shows the ugly side of the city and the people that are just wanting for him to jump. Some were even making fun of him, and it really puts one to thinking of how much a man's life is valued, even if you don't fully understand what the person is going through. With that, this film again had no rating because of its time frame, but if you want to know the content inside the film, here is inside. It was released at a time where it was not suitable for children, and I still don't believe, because the content of this movie, it is still suitable for children, but it is suitable for teenagers, adults, and everything else, just to understand what's happening. And if I could be very personal right now on this video, that if you have any of these types of suicidal thoughts, if you have anxiety or whatever, please reach out to somebody, reach out to a guidance counselor, reach out to a parent, family, friend, a pastor, something. And if you can't, there is a 1-800 number, and I will post it right here. It is a suicide prevention line, and they are people who are there to talk to you, and it's not just another voice on the line, even though that's what it feels like. Many people will assume this, but it's not. Help is out there, and they're out there to help you, to talk you through this. So, with that, I know this movie review was a bit intense, but it's also a very well-made film, and I believe it's one of the most important films I've seen. I really was just floored away when I saw this movie. And that is my review for Noir-Vember, because I'm going to be trying to review a noir film every week at least. If I can do 2 a week, I would do my best to do so, but right now it's going to be 1 until I'm going to see how things are changing. I'm going to be doing a podcast soon with the guys at Retro Rewind Podcast onto a movie that's not a noir film, and when that does become released, I will post a link on this video. Well, that is it. That is my review. I hope that you do stay around this page and that you like, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this movie review. And if you have not seen the movie, let me know. And hopefully I have encouraged you to come very shortly to watching this movie. It's fantastic. I love it. It's brilliant, and I believe it's a must-see movie that you have to see. So with that, that's all I have. I hope that you have a lovely day. So take care. Until then, cheers.